Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of On an Unrelated Note. I'm your host, Mike Allen, and as always, Mike Bedont, my enthusiastic co-host, joins me.
Woo! So enthusiastic.
Yeah, so enthusiastic. If it's your first time listening to our podcast, we talk about anything and everything, but it usually sticks around TV, pop culture, movies, gaming, the occasional joke or two. I don't know. But
Very
yeah,
occasional.
and we always like to start out with a little segment of how was your weekend? Mike, how was your weekend?
So I feel like I've been on weekend since like Tuesday because that's when I went out of town. And
I forgot. This has been like
yeah,
forever long.
yeah. No, but I ended up going to visit some of my family in New York, and that was a fun time. But the thing I wanted to talk about was I ended up going to see the Macy's Day Parade, and we parked we parked on the west side of Central Park, so we had to walk through Central Park. So it was like 6 members of my family, and like 4 other people, and no one else in Central Park. And I was like, am I legend? Which one of us is the legend? One of us should be a legend.
Am I legend?
It wasn't creepy because, it's 8 o'clock in the morning and nothing can really be creepy at 8 o'clock in the morning. But like it was just like, this is the most empty I've ever seen a place. And this is also probably one of the busiest places in the world. And those two factors coming together were very weird. I was like a little just looking left, like there should be more people here. Where is everyone?
Yeah. Although I don't know why you said nothing can be creepy at 8 a.m. in the morning. I want to challenge that.
All right.
And I'm going to think of some things that are creepy at 8 a.m. and I want the listeners to think of that too, because that's funny. I'm writing that down. I want to know what can be creepy at 8 a.m.
All right, yeah, write it down. I'll accept all challenge. Oh, Mike, and I am going to ask you how your weekend is, but I have to give a super belated shout out to Dylan because I was looking at our feed on the old podcast server. Dylan gave us a 5-star review. He said
"Oh, Dylan, yes, thank you."
He said that we're better than ESPN's Mike and Mike, which I thought was very good.
Hey, we give the people what they want,
Hashtag step your game up, Jose. But Mike, how was your whole Thanksgiving weekend stuff going?
Oh, so the whole weekend, this whole week or whatever. Yeah, it's been good. Got to catch up with the family. Things of that nature. Eat too much. Definitely need to hit the gym after this because I feel
good Lord,
5 pounds heavier. Yeah. Actually, yesterday though, it's pretty wild. We got invited to this football and friends thing, and it ended up just us drinking ridiculous amounts of alcohol. The second I walked in the door, I got iced. I ended up getting iced 3 times that night, and I don't recommend it. I'm like shaky. I just got done being hungover at like 4 p.m.
What is with you guys and icing people? Like I was fairly certain it was 2016, not 2006. Like exactly. I don't understand why you guys keep doing this.
We're bringing it back, dude. I think what happened with at least these people that I hang out with, they just never stopped icing each other.
Okay.
So it's just constantly going on. But one girl got me so good. Her name was Christy. She was just like, she goes, "Hey, can you get something out of my purse?" And I'm like, "You're not tricking me, are you?" She's like, "No, I just need to grab my phone." I'm like, "Okay." So I walk over to her purse. I'm drunk, but I even pat the purse before I open it. And I'm like, "It's good." And I open it. There's a smeared off ice in there. I'm like, "Damn it. How did you get me?" She's like, "How'd you not feel it?" I don't know. But yeah, and we also did Power Hour, which is something I haven't done since college.
Dude, I haven't Power Houred in, I don't know, 8 years or something like that.
Yeah, let's just put it this way. We were all like 2 a.m. drunk at 6 p.m. and we just continue that level of hype till 2 a.m. Today has been rough. I'm still drunk, I think, but I think that's gonna make for a good podcast. But yeah, so that was my weekend. I'm gonna switch it up, guys, and do something a little bit different. I feel like we normally give you viewer feedback at the end, and since you or listener feedback at the end, I'm gonna go ahead and address that now because that's probably what you want to hear. You want to hear your questions answered. So we have one from Dylan, of course.
Was this the thing that I was curious about when I was like?
Yeah, that was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's not as exciting.
But apparently, you made a comment about Dick Cheney last episode, Mike.
I'm sure I did.
Dylan would like to know who's the Dick Cheney of our podcast.
Me.
Okay. And why? Why? Are you the
well,
Dick
because
Cheney?
Dick Cheney was the vice president. So you're the figurehead, right? You're the one that's going like, "Hey guys, welcome to this unrelated note. I got things going on, blah blah blah." But it's actually my agenda because I don't care what you say. You're the face, and they're like, "Hey, that Mike Allen, he's really nice. He sounds like a fun guy," and I'm just in the background going, "Good."
This is going well. Oh, come to the dark side.
Do you disagree?
No, I was gonna agree with you. I just wanted to know why. I feel like you could have explained it better.
Also, I'm evil.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, too soon? So I got political. I apologize.
All right, so time to move on. That was all our listener feedback for the week. But
I'm sure there was other all right, hold on. We have to stop for nope because I don't want to edit. I fixed it.
There you go.
I'm sure there's other viewer feedback. I miss it all the time. Dylan rated us like a month ago. I just noticed.
We need to step our game up. Is really what it comes down to.
But also, you guys need to step your game up because I'm sick of your shit, listeners. I'm sick of your. No, I'm just kidding. I love that you guys listen.
All right, so the first topic I want to discuss.
Batman v Superman and why it's bad. Okay, so here, no, it's fine.
That's like episode 1. No, so Jay Baruchel, if you don't know who he is, he's an actor in like every one of Seth Green's movies. But he is directing the sequel to Goon. Goon is a movie about Sean William Scott's in it. It's a hockey movie about assassins. Fighters
Goon.
on the ice.
I could have sworn to God you just said Dune. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll do a sequel to the movie Dune. That seems weird, but okay. The movie Goon. Okay.
Goon. If you don't know what a goon is, he's an assassin on the ice. He's the dude that just goes out and beats people up because they're doing too well.
It's a hockey player that's bad at hockey.
Yeah, but good at fighting.
That's not Happy Gilmore because he ended up being good at golf.
Well, thanks, Mike. Pretty sure everybody knew that. But yeah, no. The first movie I felt was really awesome, but I saw the trailer for this Goon 2. Man, you would think people would just understand what made the first one good. Like with anything, it just really bothers me. And then they like go over the top.
What made the first one good?
Did you not like the first one?
I don't remember the first one. I remember.
You probably haven't even seen it.
No, I remember
honestly.
the box art, and I remember I have seen that movie. I don't remember the plot at all.
The first one was just good. It's about a dude that was just dumb and found out he was good at fighting.
So was that what was the I remember that, and I remember the setup. I don't remember the ending. What was it? He learned a lesson, or what? I don't remember any of that. So yeah.
At the end, he took out the head guy and got the girl. And then this one, so the story's been told basically. Right. And then this one, it's just he's still playing. Everyone's still the same, doing the same antics, and you're like. It just doesn't work.
Is this because Sean William Scott hasn't had a movie released in theaters since that?
I think that's
is
what
that what it is? Okay.
It has to be. Yeah.
I feel bad for Sean. I like Sean William Scott. I think that he is good in stuff. I like him in The Rundown. I like him in stuff. He's just he got typecast as Stifler really, really hard.
There was he's always shows up on those IMDb things where it's or Yahoo where it's 10 celebrities that the industry won't cast. He's always one of those.
Well, and listen, I'm not a huge fan of the however many American Pies there are minus the first one, but that's a character, right?
Right.
Stifler was a great character, but that stinks because I think he got that at the tail end of getting. I don't think people get typecast anymore. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think it happens as much.
I
think with TV, everyone shakes it up now.
Yeah.
So if you're getting typecast in movies, you go do a television show and do whatever you want, and then it's oh wow, this guy's got acting chops and range, and then they go back in.
Matthew McConaughey was typecast as all right, Matthew McConaughey,
which is crazy because there was a time. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but there was a time when everyone, Family Guy, made fun of Matthew McConaughey nonstop about how his movies were terrible, and all he did is chick flicks. Now look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we probably live in a world where there's far more, you can go to Netflix, you can go to TV, you can, and it's not bad. I think people are just more accepting of things just showing up on their screen and not judging them as TV or as like a movie or as whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
like, maybe Sean William Scott would have been served really well by like just doing an HBO show or something. But like,
A lot of times too, these actors I guess they get egotistical, and I'm not saying he is, but a lot of people won't do things.
Yeah.
They think it's beneath them,
Yeah.
and I think that's where you really have to.
I mean,
you have to be humble and shake it up, and know that you have to.
And exactly, and I think that's an old audience idea that some actors are still holding on to. Dude, at some point I'm going to go into Westworld real hard because there's like 2 episodes left, and I need to talk about it.
I need to watch
But,
it. I haven't
like,
watched it yet.
Anthony Hopkins is on that. He's got an academy, like, he's the epitome of acting. You know what I mean? And he'll be on a TV show. So, like, everyone just, like, look at the material, and is the material worth your acting? Like, maybe don't do Fast and the Furious 17 because it's in a movie, and maybe look at, like, hey, would this be a good show? You know, like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I also think somebody gave advice one time, and they were saying that if you're like a leading man in something, or you're just getting the same parts over and over again, you start going downhill, then you need to take a hiatus, and you need to either become a bad guy or a comic relief. And a prime example of that is Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder, because you hadn't seen anything from Tom Cruise in a very long time. And then he comes back as Les Grossman. You're like, is that Tom Cruise? Oh my God, Tom Cruise! And then all of a sudden, it's been an uptick of Tom Cruise stuff, and that was one part, very minimal in a movie.
yeah, I mean, I don't even think most people realized it was Tom Cruise till the credits. And I mean, I think that's maybe why typecasting is gone. More gone than it was before. Is that people have learned lessons from the past, and so they go, hey, one for them, one for me is supposed to be the rule that you should follow. So like, hey, listen, Chris Evans. Everyone goes, Chris Evans. What's he in besides Captain America now or whatever, right? A lot of stuff. Maybe
He's in a lot of stuff.
maybe-
A lot of Netflix movies,
Yeah,
too.
maybe you didn't see it, but he did it, so a casting agent can see it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're like, if you're like, I mean, back in the day, like, I was gonna use the Sean Connery example, but he's a dickhead, so I'm glad he didn't get more work. Like Adam West, right? In the '60s, he was Batman, and he couldn't get another job for like 20 years because, like, hey, we're not gonna have the Batman guy. But that's not what it is now, right? Like, they'll have
Right.
like, you can do whatever you want. It even used to be like, you had to start out as like a Disney star, and then you'd get like more like serious, right?
Yeah.
But, like,
Now you can start as a kid doing crack on some
like
TV show.
the star, like, what's her name? The star of Supergirl, right?
She was nobody, right?
She, like, the only other thing I'd ever seen her in was an episode of Homeland where she was naked. And then they were like,
Ooh.
that wasn't the point I was making, Mike.
I need to go check out that episode.
The point I was...
That should be the ploy to watch Homeland. That's what they should say to people. Like, did you
There's
know
an
the
episode where the chick that
Supergirl's
plays
naked
Supergirl-
in like episode blah blah
Can
blah.
you let me give it to my point? No. So my point was, like, that would have been like a death nail. But I was like, no, who cares? Like, media is so, like, ever-flowing and liquid that, like, yeah, do a really serious, gritty thing, and then you can go do a thing for everyone, or do a thing for everyone and go do a serious, gritty thing. Just don't do bad things, and that's the part
Yeah.
that, like,
That's the part, unfortunately, not everyone understands. But don't remember how we. Okay, yeah.
the
Goon
the
2.
guy that was Seth
Yeah.
Rogen's friend at
Yeah.
This Is the World's End or This Is the End is now doing a Goon movie.
Okay.
Or a Dune movie. Did we ever? I'm just-
Maybe we should get the rights. Now, moving on. Next topic. So Martin Scorsese has a new movie coming out called Silence.
of the
It's
Lambs.
got, like, Liam Neeson, the guy that plays Kylo Ren,
Adam
dude
Driver.
Adam Driver, and I can't think of anyone's name today. The old Spider-Man, and like
Andrew
the Amazing
Garfield
Spider-Man.
or Toby?
Andrew
Okay.
Garfield, right? Yeah. It's about Christianity and Japan and stuff like that. But that whole trailer, it looks, I don't know, it'll probably be good. It's Martin Scorsese, but that whole trailer just reminded me we have not had a good gangster flick in a long time.
What about
And-
Gangster Squad? Which I was probably like 5 years ago now, so that was.
There's
bad
no
too.
freaking way that you actually said that with any seriousness. What about Gangster Squad?
I saw it on HBO.
It was terrible. No, but there's no gangster flicks anymore. And, like, if Martin Scorsese's not making them anymore, then, I mean, we might be at the end of gangster flicks.
Yeah, I think I'm not totally sure if that's a movie thing. I think that might just be I think that might be a reaction to the world in general, and kind of like back in the, like, now our movies are like, even Martin Scorsese's, right? Now he does The Wolf of Wall Street because we like bad guys, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we now live in this world where, like, there are crazy people who just, like, shoot up movie theaters because they want to, right? So, like, the idea of, like, you know, an Al Capone with, like, a Valentine's Day massacre, like, we don't really want to see that just because, like, we're like, hey, that's too close. So, like, we want to see bad guys, but we want to see bad guys that are a little removed from us. Like,
well, it doesn't have to be like a modern day gangster flick. I just like, I like the time periods of what gangster flicks. Like, I mean, Goodfellas and Casino, and then you got
name one other.
There's no, I'm trying.
The Godfather.
The Godfather. The dude. What's the? That's not the point.
No,
the point
I
is,
know. I want you to.
Yeah,
I want you to sit here and stir while all of our listeners just yell things into the ether at you.
The point is like, if we're not like, I'm okay with seeing that time era again. It hasn't been done in a while, but you know, those are my favorite Martin Scorsese films, and I think he does it the best. And I just haven't. It's just sad to me that we're not going to see that again. And it's sad because, like, you had the Robert De Niro's and the Joe Pesci's, and you know, I think they tried to do it. Remember, Killing Him Softly came out with Brad Pitt. Like, they tried to bring it back, but it was just modern day, and it was terrible plot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the real problem. Is I think there's a real problem with storytelling where I think people mistake the fact of whether something needs to stay in its own time zone, or not time zone, time period, or like it needs to be modernized. And I think often they make a mistake. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of times, like, they keep giving, like, we've talked about Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock Holmes, right? Like that. Right. Sherlock Holmes is a guy who, he's timeless, right? Like, it's just like, it's like, fine, every CBS TV show is just a ripoff of Sherlock Holmes, right? Like, basically. Like, so like, he's timeless, right? So you can put him in any era and he works. But there is definitely a problem where, like, these gang movies, when they try and bring them to modern times, because it's kind of like, no, because someone would have just used their cell phone. Do you know what I mean? So, like,
yeah.
Like,
well, hold on, to pause. I think the closest thing that we have to a modern day gangster flip would be The Departed, right? That was a good movie.
Oh, dude, I tell you what you gotta watch, and also if anyone doesn't want to watch it, please feel free not to, because boy does it get dark. But Black Mass with Johnny Depp.
I've seen that. I forgot that. Yeah, okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. Apparently, but there's none that I guess hit as hard as the ones we know, like back in the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are just classics in the way that, like, maybe in like 40 years, everyone will just go, you remember how good Gangster Squad was? Like, we don't know.
I really hope that's never a sentence ever that comes out of anyone's mouth.
All right.
Seriously.
I'm going to make, obviously, I'm playing devil's advocate here, everyone. But in all fairness, Martin Scorsese did not win his Oscar until The Departed. So maybe at the time that Casino and those other movies came out, everyone went, these aren't good. And then now, like, that we've had some time and perspective, we've gone, oh, these are pretty good. So maybe, obviously not Gangster Squad, because I'm not an idiot, but, like, maybe there's something that has come out that we thought was like, oh, that's okay, but I kind of wish we had a better movie. Maybe a few years removed, we'll go, man, do you remember that?
Gangster Squad?
Gangster.
Okay.
Oh, that's
enough of that.
That Ryan Gosling. Woo!
So I heard this the other day, and I'm so excited for this. Listeners, I hope you are too. So they're rebooting Highlander, and the John Wick director. I don't know. You say there's two directors, but the John Wick director is attached to it. And let me tell you, I'm stoked. I love Highlander. I even love the sequels and how cheesy they are. Like, the first one's good, but that's just because.
Hold on, why are you looking at me? If my audio sounds weird, I'm trying to stare at the camera and see if Mike's, like, high on goofballs.
Oh.
Nah, he seems normal. Seems like he just likes bad movies. All right, let's continue.
I was going to tell you that I know that they're bad. I know that the sequels are bad. But I watched them in
The Quickening.
I think, the 5th grade. And they were the coolest things to me. I was like, he just cut his head off. But, you know, that I think it's time for a Highlander reboot. An actual one. Someone give it some justice. What do you think, Mike?
I like the very core concept of the Highlander. I like the idea.
It's pretty basic.
But here's the thing: if you want to watch a good version of the Highlander, just watch Jet Li's The One. Also, if you're gonna watch Jet Li's The One, notice that the hospital he goes to is Sacred Heart from Scrubs. But
is it really?
Yeah.
That's the information you don't get anywhere else, but unless you're on an unrelated note, guys. That's cool.
Yeah. They do the front. It's totally the same hospital.
And then JD and Turk will have
no, I don't know what the timelines are on those, so I don't know.
That would be cool though if like Turk was in an ambulance or something.
Yeah, but like when they show up, it's totally that establishing shot of like the backside that they always show. Like it's right there.
That's cool.
But wait, what? Highlander? Okay, so from what I understand, Highlander 2 is like all of a sudden it's space aliens or something. Is that right?
No, Highlander 2, it doesn't get weird until like Highlander 3. Highlander 2 was basically it's the same bad guy. It's a different bad guy, but he's just like
because
forgot what
like
happened.
The secret surprise of being the winning Highlander is that like
was you got their power. You got their power if you killed one.
But like the trick was, now you get to go live a normal life, and then the second one was like, nope, now you're doing the Highlanderness again. Do I remember these correctly?
No, the first one is basically Sean Connery telling this dude, he's like, you're a Highlander. He's basically telling him that you're a Highlander, right?
Yeah, he's like,
and
Luke,
then he's building him up to take care of this bad guy, because apparently the Highlander code is just be a Highlander. But then there's one guy that's just going around
Sean Connery
taking everybody.
just shows up and he goes, and Sean Connery just shows him like, you must go with me to Alderaan if we're to beat the Empire, something like that, right? And anyway, listeners. Explain the Highlander movies. I don't remember, and I don't think I understood them when I saw them.
Maybe I didn't either. I don't know. Maybe we need to watch them again. I'm actually looking up Highlander 2 because if I'm right.
I was like, why are you looking over to the right? Because you're looking up the Highlander. Hey, I have a question, and this might make me sound dumb, but is the Highlander guy the Raiden from Mortal Kombat 1?
Yeah, whatever happened to him? Christopher Lambert's.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's been in anything
died,
a very
right?
long time. No, he didn't die.
He had white hair in that one movie I saw him in.
That was all fake.
But all right. So what are you googling? All right, I'll Google.
All right, you know
Christopher
what?
Lambert. Is that what I'm?
It's fine. I was looking at. He hasn't done anything since like Highlander 2. So.
All right.
Oh well.
There can be only one.
I think he just couldn't act. I think that's why we haven't seen anything.
Listeners, don't even look up Highlander lore. But if you want to, there's a great Robot Chicken where it's like all like the young female celebrities from like the early 2000s trying to get the Highlander moniker, and that's pretty funny. So look that up.
Okay.
It ends up being like Lindsay Lohan versus like Amanda Bynes or something like that. It's so
that's kind of funny then.
especially with hindsight.
Yeah. So next topic. So I saw this the other day. Take this with a grain of salt because it came from Dave Bautista's mouth. But so Dave Bautista, I feel like all like the characters of Guardians of the Galaxy that aren't the most relevant, like Dave Bautista and Vin Diesel, talk the most about Guardians of the Galaxy.
First of all, I love Dave Bautista. And I've said this before, I think maybe. Like, I realized that it's possibly because he's a bad actor that Drax is so good.
Character.
But, I love Drax.
But they drop, like, all this stuff about what could happen in the movie. So he was saying that he hinted that James Gunn could be putting you might see more of Howard the Duck in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Like I said, it's come from Dave Bautista. But that's kind of cool, though, right? You're taking a character from an old Marvel film that sucked, right? If you saw the first Guardians of the Galaxy, you see him there at the very end hanging out with the Collector. But, like, I'd be interested to see, like, what is Howard the Duck doing in this universe now? Like, is he just a small business owner? Is he a loan shark? What is?
I mean, what I love about the Guardians of the Galaxy is like I wouldn't put anything past them. Like in just the fact that like not like because I'm like, oh, the Guardians of the Galaxy is the best ever, but more in the fact that it's just kind of like, I mean, they've done in the world of comic books, the Guardians of the Galaxy have done the most ridiculous things and pulled them off in a way that you would like. So like, I mean, they had a talking raccoon in a tree. You're telling me that like somehow they couldn't make me believe that a duck has some place in that world? Like that'd be crazy for me to say.
Yeah, I think whenever Guardians of the Galaxy first got announced, and like, well, how are they gonna do a raccoon in a movie?
In all fairness, the first thing everyone thought when Guardians of the Galaxy got announced was, what in the fuck is Guardians of the Galaxy?
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But at the same time, I don't think it's been done well until that movie that you had an animated character within like actual actors. I don't think it's been done well. Other than Schmeagol, I guess.
I mean, yeah, all right, yeah. So, Gollum from Lord of the Rings is good. Still holds up pretty well considering how old.
Well, they get Andy Serkis to do like every character that needs to be animated.
Yeah, I mean,
he plays them.
He did that. Like Gollum still holds up. I'm thinking of movies that because once you see it on TV, that really shows. So Rocket still holds up. What else holds up? I don't know. The T-800 from Terminator still looks pretty good. The liquid metal one. But that's not...
Oh, God, yeah.
But
that's not really like a cartoon character. But I guess it's the same thing.
Jar Jar Binks, I mean, he is still good, right? Like, he's been great the whole time.
What? No. What? Jar Jar Binks was terrible. I was like, what are you talking about? Even the animation of Jar Jar Binks was terrible. I guess the prequel to Star Wars,
If I have to say something, listen, if I have to say one thing about Jar, like, he's a terrible character, super racist, really annoying. The compositing still doesn't hold. Like, now he doesn't look like he's in the scene with them. But the animation's still good. His ears are, like, flop well. Like, let's not...
Me so tired of this conversation. I can't even do it, but let's go.
All right, so here's the thing: is Jar Jar Binks is a secret Sith Lord? No, I'm just kidding. Let's move
on. Check back on one of our old episodes, and one of the biggest movie conspiracies is that Jar Jar Binks is secretly a Sith Lord. Check it out; it's pretty funny. Or Google it.
Probably Google it. There's probably better like videos and stuff about it if you don't.
There's probably better explanations and things. Yeah. So, maybe we'll see Howard the Duck in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 for the second time. So here's some interesting news that I read the other day, that TNT ordered a Snowpiercer pilot.
Dynamite!
TNT.
Yep. Sorry.
Snowpiercer is a movie with Chris Evans, and it's on Netflix. You can see it. It's pretty good action.
We were just talking about how Chris Evans does non-stuff to not be typecast.
I know
this works very well.
This is one of the. This is a huge international movie, right?
Yeah, Mike. It's actually from a South Korean director. It was actually a South Korean production. But yeah, no, Mike. See, this is when you need your better segues. So we should have segued this earlier. But no, that Snowpiercer is is an amazing first watch.
Kind of describe it for people because
they're not going to watch it, but they're not going to watch it if I describe it because it sounds really stupid.
I'll just tell them it's the end of the world. So it's a giant train.
There's a snow apocalypse, and the only living people live on a train that moves around the world fast enough to keep everyone alive. And the further up towards the engine you live, the more high class you are. And the farther towards the cabin you are, the more low class you are.
Right.
And I realize that sounds really stupid, but it's really good. And the direction is the thing I really like, is because for the most part, the camera stays in a position that as the action moves, it moves from right to left, like up the train. The camera rarely goes to the other side of the train to mess with your eye. And it's so well put together. Like all the beats work so well. It is an amazing first watch. when you watch it again, you kind of see some holes or whatever. But then you're not going to see any holes the first time.
Yeah. What's cool to me is that there's like they didn't make the train because you would think, well, how do they get to? No, it's a train. Like to go to the next car, you have to walk to the door and get to the next car, right? Like so to get home to the higher class, you'd have to walk through the school car.
Yeah.
And so everyone is literally like walking through these cars, and these action sequences of fighting, the kung fu is crazy, and it's all in a train.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing that they do well and why it's an amazing first watch and not so good is like they do not dwell on the setting or the setup at all. Like bad sci-fi-ish movies, like I don't know, like Waterworld or something like that. Like they suffer from like, let's try and explain what happened, and then it's like that doesn't make it. They're just kind of like, hey, guess what? The Earth froze and this train's the thing. Shut up. This is the movie. You know. Like,
well, all right. So this brings me to my first question. Well, the only question that I was going to ask. We just talked about how
what's the meaning of life? That's the only question. 42.
No.
Watch Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Or read the book. It's pretty good.
Okay. Nobody reads anymore, Mike. What I was going to say is, since we just talked about how good the movie was the first time we watched it, do we really need a TV show about it?
Absolutely not. I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, so let's take a movie that's really good, a plot, and then just chop the crap out of it.
Let's take a super concise 2-hour movie that works perfectly and like put it into 20. After I've already told you, watching that same 2 hours again makes you go, wait, what's going on? And all you would do in a TV show is expand on the things that don't make sense instead of going, hey, it's a brief movie. We don't have time to talk about it. Let's run past things we don't understand. We'd have to go, well, why'd the Earth freeze? Well, the Earth froze over because in 2017, a meteorite hit the moon, and that forced the Earth's orbit to mess up so that the moon went to the poles and it pulled all the water and made it ice. Like, I don't want any of that. I don't want that because it won't hold up.
All right, so we're both on the same page. Then I don't think that it should be made into a TV show.
Also, Snowpiercer is the name of the train. I don't know if that.
And the movie.
Did we just sell people on the movie by me giving them that fact that was the name? Like,
I don't know, but I think Chris Evans should be like, "Hey guys, thanks for promoting my movie."
Man, he gets a beard. Like you have a kind of a Chris Evans-y beard. I got to be honest. Like
it comes
dude,
out well.
How disappointing! I'm so disappointed every time we do this because like I've been seeing the build of your beard, and my beard is just total horseshit. It doesn't grow.
Shave?
No, I didn't shave. It grows in all white trash like this, as established.
You kind of have, although you kind of have that like Doctor Strange beard going on, where like you would just have to trim the sides, and you'd automatically always have that.
This is why 5 o'clock shadow all the time, because it comes in real hard, real quick. But look how, viewers, I cannot describe to you how like. I mean, don't get me wrong. It looks like shit because it's all gingery. But like, if it were a normal hair color, it would look immaculate.
Oh, thanks. So just the gingerness is bad about it. So, Mike, here's another thing you'll be pleased to know about. Moving on to the next topic. So they just canceled. They announced that they just canceled the Boba Fett movie that was supposed to be a prequel. And I think some people are listening to the podcast, Mike. They have to have been, right?
Yeah.
Are we getting bugged?
Yeah, well, I mean, they haven't canceled Rogue One yet. But so
I'm not looking forward to that movie.
I'm gonna go see it. You have to.
I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see
it for the podcast.
Yeah, but like just the fact that Brent and Joel texted, we're all in this group chat, and they're like, "When we're gonna go see Rogue One?" Like they're excited about it. I'm not. I think it's gonna be crap. I don't need to know who the architect was that put the thermal exhaust port. You know.
There are no good prequels. We've discussed this. There are definitely no good Star Wars prequels. I don't need answers. Like, I don't want answers. I don't need answers. I don't want them. Right?
See, that's what I'm saying. Maybe somebody's listening because the idea of like us caring about Boba Fett, like the coolest thing about Boba Fett was he's just a bounty hunter.
Just kind of the way he looked.
He could been
like,
and whatever he wanted.
And here's
to
the
be.
weird thing though, is like of the ones we had heard about, Han Solo, Rogue One, Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan, right? There's kind of talk of Obi-Wan. the Boba Fett was the only one I was actually interested in because everyone has gone, Boba Fett's such a badass. And I'm like, no, he has 2 lines in Empire, and then he gets knocked into the Sarlacc pit by a blind man. That doesn't sound like a badass to me. Like,
yeah, he really didn't even get much credit till the prequels, and then they tried to like ground him because he had a son, and like I don't believe a bounty hunter.
He was the son, but
oh yeah, he was.
Yeah,
the son,
but like no, like he just looked cool, so everyone ascribed stuff to him. So then when like all the expanded universe novels and games and stuff came out, they're like, oh, the baddest bounty hunter in the world. Like theoretically, like Dengar is probably a better bounty hunter than him. I haven't seen Dengar do anything except for he kind of like wrapped like a mummy in a black spandex. But guess what he didn't do? Die by being hit by a blind man into a Sarlacc pit. Which I think I could avoid being hit by a blind man into a Sarlacc pit. So you know what? I'm not really like cool armor doesn't give you a pass is all I'm saying.
Oh. I don't know why. You made me just thinking the Family Guy bit where Peter gets unfrozen from carbonite, and he's blind, and they're like, "What's wrong with?" Chewie goes, "What's wrong with you?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I just woke up from like being frozen." And he goes, "Oh, well, that would explain this cough and this constant like fever and these lesions." And Chewie looks at him and he's like, "I think you have 2 things." Oh, but yeah. So
anyway,
it's probably more funnier to watch.
It's all right. Bottom line, listen, if you like Boba Fett, that's cool. Like, I like that you like him as a character, but you're an idiot. Anyway.
All right. What does your T-shirt say? It says, "This is my."
My T-shirt said, "This is my green shirt."
Oh.
This is a shirt.
It looked like something totally different from where I was.
This is a shirt that I bought. So for people who don't know, I'm wearing a green T-shirt with white writing that says, "This is my green shirt." And I bought this for St. Patrick's Day last year, where I did a video. I used to do these videos that I don't get to do as much anymore. They'd like, hey, funny informational stuff about whatever. And so like the joke was I wore this green shirt and I stood in front of a green screen. And the joke was like, hey, guys, we finally got a studio, so now I can do cool videos, and we can be on a mountain, and we can do it. And it's like me, like, posing in front of stuff. And then, like, a producer off screen goes, hey, man, like, your shirt's messing up everything. And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, because it's the same color as the background. And it led into this whole thing where I was, like, taught people about the properties of light or whatever. So, like, but now I just wear it because I expensed it, so I have a free T-shirt.
Guess you had to be there.
Or, you know what? Just because Mike's being a jerk about it, check in the description below, and there will be a link to this video from St. Patrick's Day.
Please do that.
I'm going to do it.
Let everyone know about your instructional
I'm going to do it. Also, hey, listeners, you have to promise to not tell anyone I work with that I do this, even though I tell them I do it, but none of them listen, so they have to know that I don't do it.
Right. Well, yeah, my fear is that, like, I don't know why, like, we go look for another jobs one day, and they're like, so, we've looked on LinkedIn, that's brought us to your Facebook page, and we see that you have a podcast. We didn't like what we heard.
Yeah, but, well, like, more of my fear is, like, they're going to be like, we listened to the podcast, but, like, we thought Suicide Squad was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And they'll go, excuse me, sir, I don't want this job, and just throw them.
Yeah, I will walk out of there. Like, you are what's wrong with America. No.
What's the next topic? What are we talking about?
Like I said, you only get this on an unrelated note, folks. Shout out to Jose.
Shout out to Dylan. So, Jose, rate us, and then you get a shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Dylan.
You dickhead.
Can we make a t-shirt? Shout out to. Can we have shout out to, like? I really do want to make a shout out to Jose t-shirt and make it purchasable.
I mean, we could. I think it should be more.
I don't think anyone would buy it. Jose would.
There we go. I would assume I'd get a free one. I'd wear it.
Yeah. We better.
And then we'll do a shout out to Jose, and then on the bag it says, "Just kidding. Hey Jose, finally take your girlfriend's phone and rate us on iTunes." Actually, shout out to Dylan. Sorry, do inside baseball, whatever.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Okay. All right. So new topic. we've hit the gaming topic of the podcast, so I would like to talk
Steep.
about. So we talked about.
Oh, we're not talking about the steep? All right, fine.
No. We talked about last week how we believe that Ubisoft wants to do good. It might seem like they're turning a corner. So this is actually attached to Steep, Mike. So Steep is snowboarding, parachuting, skiing.
December 2nd.
It's pretty awesome, right?
Xbox One, Tech Jansen 007, friend me. Let's snow down some mountains.
Yes. It looks like a lot of fun, and apparently they've come out stating that they're no longer charging money for DLCs on their games. They stated that. They compared buying the item to like being in a theme park and then having to pay to ride the rides, and they're trying to stop this. Now the only thing they've done this with what was the game where you came in Siege, Rainbow Six Siege?
Yep.
They've done that. They'll still make purchasable DLC for things like skins and customizable like wearing gear, but they're no longer charging for updates.
Yeah, so like
new maps.
And
stuff.
if I understand correct, so you bought Rainbow Six
Siege, yeah.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Yes.
And like you were like it's really good or whatever, and I was like, eh. And then
It was fun.
Yeah, no, but like it is like in a like historic fashion grown its player base. Like the number of like month over month more people are playing Rainbow Six Siege than we're like Call of Duty. People buy Call of Duty and then like it's just like a downward trend of people just going, well, I'll just do something else with my life. But apparently like, they're growing their player base. So maybe this is a response to that and going, hey, maybe if we made a game and just nice to our community, they would tell their friends and then more people would buy it and we'd like slowly build a base of games.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what they've hit on because they're saying that they don't want to make it – they want the gameplay to be the same for every person playing.
Yeah.
Those opportunities need to be the same. And by taking away like you have to – because you know what happens with like Call of Duty's example. You'd have the main maps, but you couldn't play the new mode maps because – you couldn't even get in the same playlist with people because those new maps, and that really does like cuts your player base.
Absolutely,
and,
dude.
Sections it.
I compare that to the fact that like I will never go to Disney World again.
Oh, I won't either. Well,
I will never go to Disney World again.
It's pretty terrible.
No, but the way this is comparable is guess what? We all paid whatever to get into Disney World. And then you're standing there, and then someone has a fast pass, and they just go ahead of you in line. And it's like...
Oh, you didn't get the fast pass? It's an amateur move, man, if you don't have the fast
pass. No, the fast pass is bullshit.
Hey, that's why I got it.
Exactly. So this is the problem. It's like, and here's my real problem, and trust me, it goes back to the video game point. But I don't have a problem with people getting something that other people don't get because they paid more money. That's fine with me, right? Like, if you pay more money, you can have a better seat at a concert, right? That's totally cool. But I shouldn't be in line at a concert, and then you get to see the concert on Friday because you paid more, and then I have to wait for the Saturday concert. Like, if we're all in line, like, because my problem with it is then you are taking something away from someone else. And that's my problem with when you can buy, like, a better gun. It's not that you get to buy something better. It's because, you get to get more kills and stuff and, like, have more fun in the game because you have paid more money than me to, like, have a gun that shoots with 2 bullets instead of 10.
Mike, to quote what you're saying, and the biggest example of the most BS gun in gaming DLC history is Star Wars Battlefront 2 for Xbox or PS4 when you pre-ordered and you got the Han Solo
the DL44 on
that thing would kill you so quick. Is so much. I promise you, that's probably the reason I stopped playing the game. That's what turned me on.
It was technically just Battlefront, even though it wasn't Battlefront Run. It was Battlefront 3. It doesn't matter. But that's the stuff that bothers me. Is like it's not. I don't care if you are paying to have more fun than someone else. It bothers me when you are paying to have more fun at the expense of someone else. And that's what a fast pass is, and that's what a DLC. Like imagine you take your kid to Disney World. Like, guess what? It's not cheap to go to Disney World. You probably had to get a plane. You probably had to buy a hotel room. You had to buy tickets. And, like, just some other dickhead who makes more money just walks down. And, like, you're like, oh, hey, son, I guess we have to wait 20 more minutes because that person needed to make sure he cared about his kid more. Like, he didn't care about your kid more than you just because you made more money to buy him some bullshit. Like, it makes me angry. I remember I got fast passed once in my life, and I said, fuck this. Like, it makes me literally angry. Like, how mad do I look? I'm so
angry. You were so angry.
Like, that's how I feel about DLC. It's like, not like, oh, hey, it's like, so, like, and they pretend like it's just a Han Solo blaster. They might as well just be like, hey, would you like to die less? Yeah, no one wants to die when they're playing a competitive game. Pay us more money, and you just get to die less. At the expense of killing other people. And that's what's bullshit.
Yeah, and I think that gun you could only get with, like, it wasn't, like, a pre-order gun.
I mean, you
had to pay for, like, the collector's edition, which was, like,
absolutely. You could buy the super deluxe collector's edition and get it, or you could grind out to level 55, which took about 9,000 years. Even though I never got to, I've regened like twice in Titanfall, and I've played it for like a quarter of the time I played. Like,
yeah, that's BS too. Like, to put the best gun in the game to give it to you right off the bat, and then have everyone have to work to level 55, and that game is hard to level up in.
All right, let's talk about something. I'm still mad.
I'm so angry right now. Real quick, since we're talking about Star Wars, you have a Star Wars poster. Everyone, listeners, Mike has a Star Wars poster right behind him.
If there was a video version, you guys would be looking at it right now.
Yeah. Well, Mike, let's get on top of that. No, but it shows Luke holding a blaster, and I may be seeing this wrong. Is Han Solo holding a lightsaber?
No. All right, so this is if you guys are curious, you can Google like the original Star Wars poster. So it's Luke, Han, and Leia. Luke's holding a blaster directly at, like, let's say, quote unquote, the camera, or like the front of the poster. And Han and Leia are on the sides of him, but they're both shooting, so there's laser bolts coming out of their blaster, but his blaster's just pointing at you.
Okay.
But, like, this is like the original Star Wars poster, so, like, this is before they knew anything. This is the concept art Death Star that looks absolutely nothing like the actual Death Star. And then Darth Vader has an orange lightsaber with a hilt on it.
All right, well, good. I was just like, is that a mess up? Is that a thing I don't know about? Han doesn't have that.
I don't know. Maybe I turn more. You still won't be able to see it. It's fine.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean now. Everyone's just shooting stuff. All right,
hey,
so
Mike.
Nick. Yes, sir.
I was curious. Could you? I think it's about time for you to give them a word from our sponsors.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. So, today's sponsor is brought to you by OptiFree. OptiFree, used to refresh your lenses when they get dry.
Are you sick and tired of having dry eyes when you're wearing your contacts? Are you tired of that feeling where you just need to rub your eyes over and over again? Are you sick of pulling down your bottom eyes to, like, kind of get them to center again? Don't worry anymore, you fool. Now OptiFree, you just drop them in your eyes and you feel better or something, right?
All right, so moving on to the next topic. So, No Man's Sky. It's a game, multiple
Listen to
planets,
the earlier
blah, blah, blah,
episodes.
different experience. Yeah, but they just did an update. They have 2 updates coming, and their newest update is a building mode. So now they have, on a planet, you get to, like, build your own base, and these people work for you that are aliens that get you more resources. And now it's just like, since No Man's Sky has gotten so much flack for being terrible, I think they're trying to turn it into Minecraft a little bit.
Well, I mean, I think what happened was everyone thought it was going to be like a super expansive Minecraft, and then it wasn't. And then...
Oh, really? Was it supposed to have a Minecraft theme?
That's what people ascribed to it without it actually becoming that way.
See, I didn't know that. But that's probably why the creator got death threats when he polish that.
Well, I
turd.
mean, he probably got death threats because people on the internet are the worst. Hey, people on the internet, stop being the worst. Hey, guess what?
Or
if you didn't like a movie or you didn't like a game, it's fine. There will be more of them. Shut up.
Or go onto iTunes and give us a 5-star rating.
I mean, obviously our opinions matter. I'm just talking about other people's opinions. As like, you know, that's always a given.
Yeah. Yeah. But apparently another expansion's coming to supposed to be like a groundbreaking thing that changes the way the game's going to be. I'm interested to see if they can actually salvage this thing. I think they just need to take that formula and remake a new one and go on with it. You know.
I mean, I think they're fine. Like, I know everyone's like, what are they going to do? It's like, I mean, they sold multiple millions of copies of a $60 game, and like their most.
Yeah, but they lost over half their player base.
But what I'm saying is that doesn't like. They'd been making iOS games before this, so like they're fine. Like
okay,
like they'll be all right. Everyone who spent their $60 and are mad, that's fine. I wasted $60 on the original Watch Dogs, and I never threatened to kill anyone
that we know of.
Except for Joel, you son of a bitch.
Brent Smite sucks.
Or Jose if he doesn't rate us soon. No, I'm just kidding. Or maybe I will. No, I won't.
This is kind of cool. It's a Pokemon topic.
Gotta catch him out, Pokemon.
The highest selling Pokemon card just sold, and it was a holographic Pikachu drawing on a paper, and it was sold for $55,000, which is insane, right? But this card sold, and there was only 30 of them distributed, so that's why it's worth so much. But I don't know if you've seen it. It's all
I saw it.
It's basically like the best Pokemon drawn thing.
First of all, it's like a Japanese holographic version, and it's like a Pikachu.
So no,
it's like a Pikachu hugging a giant ink quill pen, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like no, Pokemon cards. I remember like. I was actually with my cousin. He was up in New York when I was up there earlier, and like I had given him my entire binder of Pokemon cards, which included
I don't know what I did.
Which
with mine.
included 2 holographic Charizards.
Holographic Charizards,
which were supposed to be the best.
Idiot.
But if that one's only worth $55,000, and like they only made 30, they definitely made more than 33 holographic Charizards. So.
Oh, yeah, they're out there. But just to let you know, if you still collect Pokemon cards and you think they're worth something, they're not.
Or
they're really
mail
not.
them to us. Whatever you want to do. It's fine.
I mean, we'll try.
I mean, we'd have to. They'd have to be worth. Like everything's worth something, right?
Well, it's all worth what someone's willing to pay. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, there's Princess Diane bears on eBay for like $1,000, and I think someone put it on there for like $1 million, and I'm like. No, you can go buy one for like $10.
Do you remember Beanie Babies?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That was the Beanie Baby Bear?
Yeah, my mom has 2 of them.
Yeah, like I had an aunt who just like, oh well, this is the America. So I paid $200. Like, and this was like the height of Beanie Babies, and she was like, well, I paid $200 because you need to get this Beanie Baby. This is the Beanie Baby. And I'm like, yeah, that's gonna pan out.
I have a step grandma who collects Beanie Babies to this day. There's so many Beanie Babies.
I mean,
I at this point, I think she just buys them.
That's the whole thing, and we talked about it before, so we don't have to talk about it again. Like this
we talked about it. I don't think they've heard.
No. I brought it. I know. Well, no. I was just saying like this all comes from like the comic bubble of like that one time that was Superman comics sold for a lot of money. Like the only things that sell for a lot of money are like pre-1920 because that was before they mass produced everything. Like nothing you own now will be worth anything because why would it? Like, you know what I mean? Like it.
Yeah.
The only things that are worth anything these days are things that were worth nothing. Like, so like I think like there's something like I think like one of like the most expensive NES game that exists is like some like Flintstones game or something. You want to know why?
Really?
Because it came in like a box of cereal and no one owned it because it was terrible. Like, you know, it's like only bad things are worth money now. unless you have
because no one wanted them.
unless you have a Van Gogh painting, like your shit is worthless. Sorry. Like everyone's like, I'm gonna collect all the Funko Pops. No, don't do that, because there's a million of each one, and they'll never be worth anything. You dingleberry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. My one Funko Pop weird First Order Stormtrooper. He's making a reappearance. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. But you're useless.
You're useless.
Like,
yeah, you're worth
nothing.
So, I always say we talk about pop culture stuff, and we never do, but I actually have some pop culture news that I find is pretty interesting. So, apparently Kanye West was redoing a concert the other day, and he apparently went on stage, did 3 songs, and then started ranting about Jay-Z and Beyonce and how they're mad at him and stuff like that. Like, pure freak out. But the funniest thing is you need to go on YouTube, and Snoop Dogg's at this concert, and he is narrating what's happening, and it's Snoop Dogg's calling him crazy. He's like, man, these people don't want to hear this. He's like, I thought this dude was about to sing.
Like,
I heard he got committed, though, and it wasn't like they committed him. So you have to be acting pretty crazy for them to, like, he was handcuffed to, like, a bench afterwards.
I don't know if that's true, but no, what I do know is that he had that concert, and, like, he did 3 songs. Then he got mad at Beyonce and Jay-Z, and then he started going, hey, I didn't vote, but if I voted, I would have voted for Trump. And then everyone started booing him, and then he left the stage, and then he canceled the rest of his tour. It's
and it was such a big deal that Ticketmaster would refund anyone's money.
Well, you can't cancel your tour. Here's my 2 problems with this. My first problem is that, like, don't say, and I know, like, I get mad when people go, well, if you don't vote, you don't get to complain. And, like, here's the thing. No, you do. Like, that's your right to do whatever you want to do and say whatever you want. It's in the Constitution, but that's fine. But what I hate is when people go, well, I would have voted for so-and-so. And it's like, well, I don't even know what that means. You didn't. Like,
yeah.
That's like when your buddy comes up to you, like at like 2 a.m. He's like, dude, I would have had sex with that chick, but, like, I didn't. It's like, why not? And they're like, I just didn't want to. It's like, so you would have been able to? And it's like, I mean, probably. It's like, well, Kanye, you would have been able to. No one stopped you from voting. Like, but that's fine. The other thing is, hey, Kanye, are you aware that you're a black man in America, and that probably most of your audience were a lot of black people in America, and probably when you said I would have voted for Trump, that wouldn't have gone over well? Like, that's not art. Do you know what I mean? Like that's like, I'm not telling, like, well, I am telling everyone that who to vote for. I did it a couple episodes ago, but no one listened. But
clearly,
but, like, what I'm saying is, like, know your audience is my only thing, right?
Right.
Like,
don't make political speeches at a concert.
Why are you guys mad at me? And it's like, because you're just sitting there railing all, like you literally said George Bush doesn't care about black people on, like,
I remember that
after on that Katrina live stream, and you were like, everyone's like, oh man, there you go. Here's a guy that's standing up for people, and then it's like, nah, but I voted for that dickhead. Like, I don't like.
Well, Kanye's been doing Kanye things for a while.
I think he just does it.
I would go back and watch that video of Mike Myers just like, I have no idea what to do. When Kanye said that, he's just looking at the screen like,
I think that's what broke Mike Myers. That's why he made the Love Guru, because he was just like, my whole earth, I don't know what to do anymore.
Everything I know about everything is just shattered. All right, so we've reached the last topic of the podcast, and so Mike, strap in. Or don't. You might not be interested.
I'll strap on, brother.
So apparently they released this. A fan created a Majora's Mask animated movie kind of trailer thing, and it looks so good. Have you seen it?
Have I seen the Majora's Mask kind of animated trailer thing?
I guess I could. Someone made a trailer for what could be a Zelda movie, but, like, no characters like Link or Zelda in it. It's just like the tree people that play the flutes, and there's like
Are they using the assets from the game, or they make?
Yeah,
their own? Okay.
And the guy that sells the mask in Zelda, he's got those squinty eyes. It's him like going through the forest in Majora's Mask. Like
never played a Zelda
one of the
game.
little tree people puts it on his face. It looks really cool. You should check it out. But I guess what I'm asking, I think we could do a cool Zelda movie now, animated. I don't think it needs to be live act because animated is going to make it better.
I mean, there was well, first of all, there are very few better video game protagonists than green plaid sword wielding Zelda. Like, he's a real champion of games. But Mike, you looked at me like maybe no one else will get that. I know that Zelda's the princess and Link's the character. That was a joke. All right.
I was just seeing where you were going with it.
But no, there was a rumor, maybe this year feels so long, I have no idea. I think it was earlier this year, but it could have been 7 years ago. I don't know. But there was a rumor about a Netflix Zelda thing, and both Netflix and Nintendo were very like, hey, this isn't happening. But it's also not happening. And so far, nothing's manifested itself. And I think it would be super cool if they did a Zelda TV show
that'd be cool.
in a True Detective fashion. So like, because all of the Zelda stories are like the same story, but like in kind of different worlds and different areas. So like you have 5 episodes that are Ocarina of Time. Next season is 5 episodes that are Wind Waker. The next season is 5 episodes. Like, so it's like the same.
That'd be cool.
The same characters, but in like these different worlds. Like, I think the problem with a Zelda movie would be like you'd have to choose the one storyline, the one timeline. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I agree. That'd be cool though. I think we should be making TV shows, man.
Hey Hollywood, I know you're listening. You know my phone number because apparently every single telemarketer in the world knows my cell phone number because I get 2 calls a day that I don't want. So you can find it. It's on the internet.
Totally unrelated, but my sister, her phone number is 1 number off from Walmart, so she gets calls.
Oh yeah.
For people looking for Walmart like all the time.
Well, I get, dude, that's the word. Like, the problem I had this problem the other weekend is like I give people out my number and they think that I guess when I say people, I mean like I'll give a girl out my number and she thinks I'm lying to her because my number is mostly 0s and 5s. And so it sounds made up. I'm like, yeah, just call me 0505 0505 79.
This whole story and they're like, sounds made up. Because when do you talk to girls, give them your number?
Mike, we've established. Like, I mean, listen, I gave the number out, and then my mom was like, Mike, stop lying to me about your number.
Oh, you know how to throw it in.
There's no way it can't be thrown in. It's a staple of this. It's a staple of this podcast. Like me ranting about, oh, Mike, you know what I just realized? And then we'll end the podcast because how could anyone still be listening? You haven't grinded your gears about anything in a long time. I mean, I'll say that
it's been good weeks.
My fast pass thing was that could probably have been the grind my gear section had we known.
You know, I want to keep the grind my gears section of the podcast true, so I'm not going to force a grind my gears.
Right. So the last thing,
nothing's grind my gears.
The last thing I'll say for this week is, all right, hold on, can you do the pitch part of the episode, and then I just want to bitch about Batman v Superman for literally 5 minutes, but like let everyone stop listening if they don't want to listen because I really have to get this off my chest.
Okay, so if you want to reach us, hit us up on unrelatedpod@gmail.com. We also have a Twitter, which is on an unrelated note at unrelatedpod. So just hashtag unrelatedpod. We can see your comments there. We'd love to hear from you. If you think we're wrong about some subjects, argue it or pitch us some topics. We'd love to talk about anything. And now you get to hear Mike rant about Batman v Superman if you still want to listen.
All right. So, Mike, you're still listening to this. All right.
I'm walking away.
So I was, so I had to rewatch it, right? And I was watching it. I was like, this movie's so bad, and like I thought maybe I'd like it better the second time I watched it. But here's the thing, you know the Martha moment. And if you're still listening to this, you know the Martha moment. You want to know why that moment seems so bad? Because it's the only moment in the movie that makes any sense. Because throughout the entire movie, every single character has acted like they have seen the other parts of the movie. Like,
that's true.
Like they have like there's a moment after the Martha scene where Batman's just gotten shot down by Doomsday and Wonder Woman comes and saves him, and then Superman's been dead in the sky and he flies back in, and it's supposed to be a humorous moment where he looks to Batman and he goes, "Have you gotten the spear yet?" And Batman goes, "I've been kind of busy." And then you go, wait a second. First of all, Batman and Superman never had a conversation about this plan, right? Like like why would Superman know that Batman was going for the spear? Because he was dead while Batman was flying around. And then you go, wait a second. Why would he think the spear would work? He wasn't there when Lex Luthor explained to Superman that this was a Kryptonian. So, like, he doesn't know this is a Kryptonian. Like, and, like, you just, like, work your mind. Like, oh, my God, no one has ever explained. And, like, why does anyone know what's going on? But the reason that the Martha moment is the only moment that works is because when you first watch it, everyone's been so aware of everything that's going on that you go, well, you should have just said, I got to save my mom. You shouldn't have said, hey, they're going to kill Martha. It's like, they're going to kill my mom. Because you would have gone, well, Batman would know who Clark Kent's mother is. Oddly enough, the only thing that anyone doesn't know, Batman doesn't know that Superman's Clark Kent. So if someone was about to kill you that had never met you, you would have gone, hey, can you go save, like, you know, you go, could you go say
my mom?
Like, but you wouldn't say my mom because I wouldn't know who you are, right? So like if I was Clark Kent, I'd go, hey, can you? I know you want to kill me because you know I'm Superman, but if you could, but he wants to kill Martha Kent, so if you could save her at some point, that'd be cool, right? And you go, oh, okay, because that's a one moment where like everything else happens. Like Superman even shows up and he goes, Bruce, we need to talk. Like you never found out he was Bruce Wayne. But that one moment is the only, like, and let me tell you, dude, that movie is beautiful. Like, this shot, like, don't get me wrong, too many zoom ins, too many pan arounds, too much of dolly shots, but, like, each shot is beautiful. But they're all in service of the shot. And that's the problem, is that at the end of the day, even when they defeat Doomsday, Wonder Woman throws a lasso around Doomsday to hold him tight. And Batman shoots the kryptonite grenade at him, and then Superman flies in and stabs him. And you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, until you go, wait, you guys didn't discuss this. Why did you guys do this at the same time? You didn't coordinate at all. What? Like, so it's like it's only at the end where it falls apart, because throughout the rest of the movie, everyone knew what everyone else was doing. And that's what.
Well, and technically, Superman should know what everyone's doing because he can hear Lois Lane being killed.
But he can't find his mom in an hour. I can run across Washington, D.C. in an hour. He can't find his mom in Metropolis in an hour. Ridiculous. This has been On an Unrelated Note. I'll never talk about it again until next week when I talk about it again.
Zack Snyder, get your shit together. All right.
Actually, so this is one last thing. People getting bonus material. So what I was thinking is I was watching that last fight scene. You know who should direct the rest of it? Tim Miller. Because I was watching the other day. Have you ever seen that opening to DC Universe Online? And it's like all the heroes.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. It's
so coherent. The end of this movie is just CGI diarrhea. Tim Miller's free. He's not doing Deadpool anymore. He could do it.
Yep. All right. Well, this has been another episode of On Unrelated Notes.
We already did that. No one's listening.
Yeah. As always, keep it classy and a little bit nasty.
What? Oh, wait, Mike, we didn't pull out a song. I'll just sing one. The cat's in a cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy, something, a man on the moon. Something, boy, don't when you do.
How about a better one? Show me that smile, oh, show me that smile. Don't waste another minute alone, you're crying.
Jingle bell, jingle bell.
Jingle bell.
All right, see you guys later. Screw it.
Bye.